I'm good with that.
The moment I saw him, thoughts on contraception. What is a controversial opinion you have about engagement? Will you live stream your wedding?
We're gonna go to Rome. I'd love to meet the Pope.
Will your name be Mrs. Williams? What's the best thing about being engaged to a PhD student?
You guys are so intense.
Hey guys, it's Lizzie.
Hey, I'm Trevor.
And we're engaged! We're so excited! So I asked you guys on Instagram for questions about our engagement, relationship, the wedding, and we're just going to go through the questions. Details on the ring. So it is an oval cut with 2 diamond halos around it, and I made an entire YouTube video talking all about picking out the ring and the 4 C's and all of that. Will you live stream your wedding? So we were talking about this in a live stream and everyone thought it would be so cool to have the live stream mass, but we don't want people to know where the wedding is or like what church it's at because someone could find us. It's just like a security problem.
Yeah.
So we're gonna film the wedding and we'll do a wedding video, but not live stream.
Yeah, you guys will see it. Just, we don't want random people showing up. Yeah.
Will your name be Mrs. Williams? Should you be married soon? So yes, I am changing my last name. I actually hate my last name and my dad was adopted anyways, so I've never liked my last name. But even if I liked my last name, I would still change it. So I'm excited about that. But I will always be Lizzie Stella Rizet on YouTube and my social media. Big or small wedding? So we're both the type of people who don't have like a ton of acquaintances. We have really close friends, so it's probably gonna be like a medium-sized wedding.
Hopefully, yes. Medium to small.
Did you know he was going to propose? So we didn't really do a proposal. It was more like a group decision where we decided we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. I personally am not that much of a romantic. I would have been really cringed out if he did like a surprise with the guitar and then there was someone hiding in the bushes. That would not have been like us and our relationship.
Yeah, I'm not about that stuff. I guess for me, what worked was just being direct, and if for some people it may sound like a business transaction. Yo, let's get married, and hey, let's go ring shopping. We both like kind of had this realization that it's time, and that's kind of just how it worked.
Did Trevor ask your dad for your hand? No, we didn't do that. Did COVID delay your engagement? Absolutely. No. We were thinking about getting engaged last year at the beginning of the pandemic, and we just don't want to have a COVID wedding. A lot of people, influencers I follow or YouTubers who are engaged, keep like pushing back their wedding and pushing back their wedding. So we just didn't want to deal with the logistical nightmare of a COVID wedding.
Yeah, I think for me too, I really just don't want anything to threaten the mass that I want to have. I don't want to just do like, say, like a small private ceremony, and that's good for some people. But I want pomp and circumstance.
Lots of incense.
Yeah, like come
multiple
on.
priests celebrating. Congratulations! What are the top 3 things you love about Trevor? So I would say I love his intellectualism and his mind. He's really, really passionate about theology. He's a PhD theology student, so I learn so much from him. I would say the second thing that I love is how he's an introvert, because he doesn't have like a ton of acquaintances in his life. He's just really, really close with a small amount of people, and I appreciate that depth in our relationship and with other relationships. And my third favorite thing I love about Trevor is that he's really funny, so I'm laughing all the time. We have a really joyful relationship. We have so many inside jokes, so it's a lot of fun. Where are you gonna live? So I don't really share where I live. You guys know I live in LA, which is a huge city. So I am gonna be moving when we do get married, but I'm not gonna share my location. It's a little bit easy to figure out, but so people, if they want to stalk me, will probably figure it out, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, don't stalk her, please.
Please don't. Do you feel like the relationship changes when you get engaged?
No. No, it didn't change.
I feel like for me it brought back some of the like honeymoon phase of the relationship, but we've known we were gonna get married for years, so it wasn't, maybe not years, but like I would say within the first year of our relationship, like after a year or
after a year we're like, am I in this for the long haul, and you have to make kind of choices based on that. For me, it was like a relief. We were supposed to get engaged for a while, and we knew what we were talking about for a while. And so it was something like, am I going to get the ring? We're going to get the ring. You know, all these different things we have to do for it, like photo shoot for the engagement. Now it's over. It's like, okay, that's done, you know?
Now we have all the wedding planning videos to shoot.
Yeah.
So much more content.
Yeah, so it begins.
So it begins.
Are you getting married in the Catholic Church? Obviously. How could we not? We want to have a valid marriage.
You say that so enthusiastically.
Enthusiastically, I love being Catholic.
Yeah, you're so enthusiastic.
What helped you know you were giving your fiance a confident yes? So I would say that we would have broken up the relationship a lot earlier if it wasn't working out, or we didn't feel that the other person was compatible with us, just because we're both super passionate about our careers and work really hard. So the fact that we're willing to put that much time into someone means that we're not having a casual relationship. When are you going to get a date picked out? So we reached out to our family and friends, and we think we know when it's gonna be in the summer.
I still need to do that. Yeah.
What was the biggest fear both of you had about marriage, and how did you overcome it? So I'll go first. My biggest fear was that bipolar disorder has a 90% divorce rate if one of the people has bipolar disorder. So the way I got over that is just the fact that throughout our relationship, I've experienced depression episode, manic episode, hypomanic episode, over-medicated, under-medicated, and throughout all of that, I've been really attracted to him. Because I've heard so many horror stories where you were together for like 4 years and then the person stops being manic and they're not attracted to them at all and get divorced. So I was really worried about that.
Really inspires confidence. Well, I guess for me, my main fear in getting married is my worry that that I was called for the priesthood, and me like thinking about that and, you know, asking myself a lot of serious questions and, you know, thinking about it and praying about it. And so I always was worried that I would make the wrong choice. And so I just kind of, at the end, I just said that I believe that if God called me the priesthood, then he'd make that very clear to me.
What kind of flowers will you be using in your wedding? Fake flowers? Because then you can take them home. All the bridesmaids.
No.
Why can't we do fake flowers?
No,
this
is an example of why we also need like more than a year to talk about wedding planning, because I care. So I'm a guy, I care. So I want real flowers.
We do know we're most likely using light blue as the bridesmaid color, so we kind of picked that out. But I wanted everyone to pick different dress styles, and Trevor doesn't like that, so they're all going to look the same.
I like uniformity.
Will your dress be modest? What kind of dress style do you like? So absolutely modest. If I wouldn't wear something to mass, and I'm not going to pick a dress that's a style I wouldn't wear into mass. I do love eyelet lace, so I know what the top will look like, but not the bottom. So I'm going to bring you guys on my wedding dress shopping with my friends. So that will be a YouTube video later in the fall. And actually, some dioceses have dress codes for weddings, which I think is so cool because you're literally standing before physical God in the Eucharist. And so I think it's really important to dress modestly and honor God in that way.
Just in case any of you guys are wondering, my suit will be modest. So I just want to squash any rumors right now.
Are you inviting some of your followers to your wedding? Yes! So we're going to invite people who I know really well from live streams, or who have been in my virtual Bible study, or people I've actually met. So it's gonna be a small group of people, but you might get an invite. Was there a moment you knew he was the one?
The one.
We don't believe in the one. So there wasn't a moment.
We're just compatible. I mean, in a lot of ways, we're extremely different people. We have almost none of the same hobbies. I mean, she's wearing pink, I'm wearing black. That's just the way it is, okay? What we like to talk about, the ideas we like to talk about, our religion especially, her love for God, that's the bridge that connects us. For both of us, it just makes sense that we're at this time in our lives, we get along, we love each other. This makes sense. As a Catholic couple, it makes sense for us to get married. I think that we're both called to that vocation of marriage. And so it's just a matter of finding the person who is going to help you get to heaven. That's what we have in each other.
Yeah, we connect over Catholicism the absolute most. I feel like we love going to Mass together, we love visiting churches, daily Mass, adoration, just everything we connect over in our Catholicism, because it's the biggest part of both of our lives. What made you want to get engaged now rather than closer to when you can have a wedding? So our wedding is going to be in the summer of 2022. I think it's because we dated for so long. We've been together for 3.5 years. I think a lot of people during their engagement, the whole engagement is wedding planning. So we wanted it to be a fun time to just enjoy being engaged, not with the stress of a wedding.
I guess it depends on the couple and what their goals are and what they're doing. I'm trying to think about when the wedding will best be for us, which is hopefully after coronavirus is like, I don't want to say goes away because it probably will never go away, but at least to where we can get enough people to gather and celebrate with us. But at the same time, I'm also thinking long term. So I want to, if we're gonna start having children, I want to be able to be done with coursework and not have to do classes all the time and have a different kinds of work, like either teaching or something else, so that I'm not having to do the same lifestyle I do right now. Because again, like, if it's, if we have a kid and it's finals week and I have to sit for like 15 hours a day writing a paper, there's going to be problems. And so I'm trying to like get over those. I'm trying to like skip all that.
I feel like that's a really good explanation of also why we dated for so long. Did you see this coming the first time you met Trevor? So we actually met each other in January of 2016. We were in a religion class together at Pepperdine. He was getting his master's. I was in the last year of my undergrad. The moment I saw him, I was so attracted to him, knew I wanted to date him. But I would never say the moment I saw someone I would want to marry them. That's so weird and so extreme. So no, it was a gradual thing. What about your first impression of me? You remember seeing me and thinking I was really pretty before we ever met?
No.
No, you didn't think I was attractive?
No. For me, I was just taking a class called Worldly Old Testament, and I was really focused on schoolwork. My dad jokes all the time that I was in Malibu at Pepperdine and I never went to the beach.
Not one time.
Not one time until the end. And it was because I was so focused on schoolwork and stuff. That was just my business and what I was really loving and passionate about. And then here comes this woman in this class, and it was like later on, and she's like, man, I think she digs me.
I was so obvious that I was into him.
Yeah. And through conversations, realized that she was really passionate about theology, was really into baking and stuff, so that was like an excuse she would use to like hang out with me. Yeah, even after Pepperdine, I was like, I left Pepperdine, we weren't even together, so it was like, this is not ever gonna be a thing.
Because I was moving to Thailand at the time, and then she was leaving California.
She was moving to Thailand, I was moving to Nashville, so in my mind I was like, I like her, but this is not where my life is. Our lives seem to be going in completely different directions, and somehow it.
Yeah, then we didn't talk for 1.5 years, and now we're gonna get married.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens.
Does your bipolar affect your nerves or lack thereof about getting engaged? So I would say because of my bipolar, I experienced something called detachment. I'll link below some videos about it. I would say all throughout the relationship, I feel like unsure, kind of in waves. But I know that it's fake and just my emotions messing with me and just my bipolar, so I just ignore it. But with the engagement, it wasn't like the detachment especially got worse during the engagement. It's just like a thing throughout the whole relationship. What is a controversial opinion you have about engagements? Split the cost of the ring. So I know a lot of people think this is weird, but I think it should become normalized, just because if you're in the same life stage and are both working, it makes no sense for the guy to pay for all of it. Did you have any thoughts on that before you met me? Oh. Like if there was a girl who was more traditional, would you have paid for it, or?
I always assumed that I would be the one to buy the ring, and I guess I wouldn't have a problem with that. But at least with conversations with Liz, just like the point of life that we're both at right now, it just makes more sense like financially for us to do it that way. And I'm a graduate student, so the kind of ring that she wanted to, I make enough money to get by. If you ever want to know what it's like to live on a graduate student's salary, there's this great episode of The Simpsons you should watch where the graduate students are gathering pieces of bread from the park that people are throwing to ducks. Our country does not value education or scholarship. Yeah, so just with our life situation, it just made more sense to me. I'm good with that.
Dream honeymoon place.
We're gonna go to Rome, meet some friends there at the end. I'd love to meet the Pope and pray in St. Peter's, where St. Peter himself is buried. Trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, do some Catholic tourism. And
Yeah.
like he said, we're actually going to invite some of our Catholic friends on the honeymoon, but we'll have like a few days to ourselves. I just think it's so fun. Like, I don't know why more people don't invite their friends. on
Well,
their
and
honeymoon.
some of our friends are much more familiar with Rome than we would be. I mean,
They go there all the
so
time.
the ability to see more with less time is very important.
Thoughts on contraception? How will you address that in your marriage? Lots of children?
You guys are so intense.
So, the Catholic Church believes that birth control and contraception is morally wrong, so we're not going to use that. The church does encourage couples to use natural family planning, so I'm going to do a series talking about the Natural Cycles app and everything that involves. We don't want to be a Catholic family with like 8 or 13 children, especially since I'll probably have to go off my bipolar meds when I'm pregnant. So we're going to try to not be pregnant all the time just for my own health.
Not to completely contradict what she's saying, but ideally we should have like 13 children. But in terms of, you know, relationship between love and responsibility, having 13 children for us, not something that I imagine actually happening, but it is good to have a lot of arrows in your quiver, you know.
They read that Bible verse the last time we
Yeah.
were at Mass together, and I thought it was so funny. If you guys don't know what we're referring to, it's a Bible verse in Proverbs?
Yeah, Proverbs.
Proverbs, okay. We also want to adopt children, though. So my dream would be to have 2 children naturally and then adopt 2 children. I feel like 4 children is a lot in our culture, but I think pretty normal in the Catholic world. What's the best thing about being engaged to a PhD student?
There's no good things about it, I'm telling you.
So he's reading all the time. He's constantly reading, immersed in more and more and more knowledge. So he knows a ton about a lot of things, which I find fascinating. So if I want to know about a certain topic, especially with religion, I can ask him and get a really good synopsis of what I'm wanting to know. So just his brain is outstanding.
Any women out there looking for a man who's a PhD student, I've never known a woman who intentionally looks for one.
I did though, because my dad's a professor, so I always wanted to marry.
Usually,
a
you know,
PhD
it's nice to marry a professor, but to intentionally date a PhD student, kind of risky, honestly. The amount of time that's demanded of me with very little pay for something, you know, I could spend hours working on publishing an article. I don't get a dime. You know what their payment was? They sent 2 copies of the article, which is great. It's beautiful. I like seeing my name in print. But at the same time, it's like, you just sent me copies of the article I just sent you.
Yeah, so he doesn't get paid for any of his publishing that you work so hard for.
So you kind of have to understand. There's a lot of like patience and understanding that has to happen if you're dating a PhD student. It's kind of like dating an artist where in their early years, it's really rough. Low pay, high hours. The gift of that is that you are with someone who loves what they do.
Do you have a specific church in mind for the ceremony? Yes, but we will not be disclosing that.
Until afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards you'll know.
Yeah, afterwards.
What was the process of buying your ring like? Did he choose it himself or did you go together? So we went together. My advice for ring shopping is obviously getting input from the woman, but just trying on a ton of rings. Because the ring style I have, I thought I would hate, but I just like tried on a ton of rings.
Mm-hmm.
And each ring is so unique with its features, so that will help you find something you love. So be open-minded.
Yeah, and the other thing too is if you're gonna go ring shopping with the woman you plan on proposing to, make sure that you have multiple buying options involved with your decision. Because Liz, we went to one ring shop and she was so sure that this one ring that she picked up was going to be the ring she wanted, and she was not having it when I said, hey, we should go check out another shop. And she was like, no, this is it. And I'm like, maybe it is, but let's go check the one over there. And so, you know, building options so that you can, one, negotiate, and then also find one that is even better, because she ended up like seeing the ring we ended up choosing ended up being like one that she was like, wow, that really is it, you know.
Ooh, this is a good question. When did you guys start discussing marriage? So we created a personal rule where we weren't allowed to talk about marriage until we'd been together for a year or 2 years. Do you remember you made that rule? Which I thought was great, because a lot of my friends have gotten their hearts broken because the guy has brought it up so soon and then broken up with them. So
if you don't know us as a couple, then the rule might sound kind of weird, but literally like at the time I was in a graduate program where I didn't get paid. I get paid now in my graduate program now, but before I didn't get paid at all. So it would be literally like impossible to get married in like a fast track way. Just given the field that I chose. And that way you you both have the same expectations.
Is the ring from your grandma, and why? Yes. So my wedding band will be made up of diamonds from my grandma's ring. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I've linked below all of our other engagement wedding content, and I've created an entire playlist for our engagement
Wow,
wedding.
you're really pumped. Okay.
I know, I'm so excited for this. I'm the type of person who never thought about a wedding at all. Like, all my college friends had Pinterest boards before they even got into relationships. I was never that person, and I thought I would hate wedding planning. But now that it's come around and we are engaged, I'm so excited for it. So it takes the right person to get excited.
Yeah.
Okay, we love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video.
Bye.
Bye.